Hello. A while ago, I developed a Blender add-on called Rigbot for my master's research. It's an add-on with an adjusted interface to help with rigging in a chronological way. The add-on is mostly intended for 3D generalists who aren't specialized riggers to help with rigging hard surface objects. I'll start with going through the install instructions. You go through Edit, Preferences, go to the Add-ons tab, click on the arrow here and install from disk. Then you navigate to the folder in which you saved the zip file and you just select it and go install from disk. The add-on is divided into 4 panels, which will correspond to the rigging step that you are on. So you would technically never have to leave the panel while making the rig. You start by adding an initial bone through the skeleton tab. This would be your root bone. You can snap it to the grid. You can rename it now, or you can do that later if you want. We're going to have 1 bone per major component of the piston. And to make it easier to see, we'll switch to stick mode here, which is under viewport display options. And the way we work is by snapping to the mesh center. We snap the 3D cursor, and then we snap the bone to the correct position so you can be sure that it's going to be centered. Do the same thing for the other side. And then just extrude the bone out. You can always see the buttons that I'm pressing on the screencast keys on the window. We're disconnecting the bone here because we don't want this one to be attached to the previous section. Because it has a different starting point, and it's important that the bone is starting from the middle so that it will hinge correctly. We're going to snap this one to the other side of the piston as well to make sure that it is centered, and we're going to switch the orientation to normal so that we can scale it back, and all 3 bones are going to be aligned nicely. The bone for the piston sheet is reversed, so we can either flip it or snap the tail to the 3D cursor and then move it back out again. We'll need to parent the sheet bone to the first hinge to make sure that it's moving along with it when it needs to. And we are now doing a quick test in pose mode to see if the armature is moving correctly. Next, we'll show off one of the functionalities of Rigbot, and that is that you can rename the bones through the panel inside of the interface. And once the bones have the same name as the object names do, skin them directly to them without any weight painting necessary. To skin the bones to the armature, or sorry, to skin the mesh to the armature, we will need to select the mesh first and then select the armature. And go into pose mode, select all, and parent by name. And now you'll see everything is automatically skinned. The next step will be to take care of these constraints so that the piston will always point towards the sheath, and the sheath will move towards the piston. And we'll do this by adding a dam track. This is included in the constraints panel as well. So we make them point towards each other. As you can see, it will break at some point, which is why we add a stretch 2 constraint. And we play around with the options a bit to get the result that we want. That seems to be working nicely. In the posing tab, you can reset the positions. And we add an IK in the constraints panel as well. A chain length of 2, and that is going to have our working piston rig. Congratulations.